Hey there, welcome back to our kitchen. I'm Jenny, one of Festival's Mealtime Mentors, and today we are baking up a gluten-free chocolate ganache tart. It is really, really good and super easy. So to get started, I just want to talk a little bit about the pan that we're using today. This is a 9-inch tart pan. So what makes this pan special is that it has a removable bottom. So it's similar to like a springform pan where when you're done making your dessert, you can just pop it out and then it's really easy to slice and serve. So if you don't have a tart pan, feel free to use a springform pan, and if you don't have that, you can use a normal pie dish and that's perfectly fine. Just when you go to slice and serve it, that first piece might be a little messy, but it's okay, it still tastes delicious. So to get started with our crust, we are using almond flour today instead of regular flour, because we want to make sure that this is gluten-free. So a little bit of almond flour. And because it's chocolate, we have some unsweetened cocoa powder. A little bit of melted coconut oil. Maple syrup. And just a touch of salt. So I'm going to stir this all together to create the crust. So not only is this dessert gluten-free, it also happens to be vegan, making it the perfect dessert for any families who might have family members or friends that have special dietary needs. And don't worry, it tastes absolutely delicious. So even if you aren't on some sort of special diet, you will still love this tart recipe. Okay, this looks nice and mixed. Takes a little bit of work to get that almond flour completely mixed in there, but this looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and transfer this into the tart pan. I've already sprayed it with some cooking spray so the crust doesn't stick. Right. And now to kind of spread it out, I'm going to start with my fingers, but then I also have a small glass here with straight edges to help me kind of push all of the crust up towards like the edge of the tart pan. And this crust is pretty forgiving. It's very soft, so if you accidentally tear a hole in it, no big deal. Just press it back down. That looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and stick this in the oven. It's going to bake at 350 for about 10 minutes or until the crust is dry and no longer shiny. The crust is looking beautiful and it smells amazing. It needs to cool before we get the filling in, so while it's cooling, I'm going to go ahead and get started on that super rich ganache filling. What we have on the stove here is some coconut milk. Again, this is vegan, so it's dairy-free, so we aren't using whipping cream, which is what's traditionally used in ganache. Instead, we're using a full-fat, unsweetened coconut milk. So you still get all of that creamy goodness, but without any of the dairy. I brought it to a simmer, and I've turned off the heat now. I'm going to go ahead and add in a lot of dark chocolate. I'm going to nestle it into the coconut milk, and I'm just going to let it sit for about a minute. We chopped the chocolate up into pretty small pieces so the coconut milk can kind of seep into all of those cracks and let it melt really, really nicely. So I just want to give it a little bit of time to kind of warm through. Let's give it a stir and see how it's doing. Looking good. I'm just going to whisk everything together and get that rich chocolate filling. And like I said, this is so easy. This filling is 4 ingredients. But the end product is absolutely beautiful and it looks and tastes really impressive. No one will know how simple it was. Okay, so I want to make sure all of those chocolate chunks are gone. Everything is looking nice and smooth and shiny. And that looks pretty good, so I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit of salt in here and some vanilla. And give that one last stir. And now our tart shell is cooled, so I'm going to go ahead and get the filling in here. And just kind of smooth out the top. And at this point, I would put this in the refrigerator to chill for about 2 hours or until the center is set. But I have one that's already done. So I'll go ahead and pop it out of the tart pan. Oops. So you can see the beautiful fluted edges, and now it's ready to serve. So my favorite way to serve it is with either a little bit of flaky sea salt or some fresh berries and whipped cream. But you can really choose your own adventure. There's so many great toppings, but this dessert is so rich, so fresh berries are the perfect accompaniment. I hope you give this rich, gluten-free chocolate ganache tart a try, and to get this recipe on your phone, text TART to 78402. And for more holiday recipe ideas, visit bestfoods.com/holiday.